Hey guys, welcome to As Guardians of the Galaxy. Today I'm going to be breaking down 5 must-know characters for you for the upcoming Suicide Squad movie coming out on August 6th, 2021. Suicide Squad 2021 or Suicide Squad 2, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into number 1 here.
Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
All right, getting right into number 1 here, we have Robert Dubois, better known as Bloodsport. In this movie in 2021, Suicide Squad, he'll be played by Idris Elba. Give you a little bit more about his background, especially in the comic books. He's a villain who is being funded by Lex Luthor as his new instrument of destruction to be able to finally kill Superman. Now, in the comics, Lex Luthor outfits him, gives him this device weapon that allows him to teleport any weapon he can possibly imagine directly into his hands. Now, of course, something like that, the ability like that would make you one of the most dangerous villains in the DC universe. Now, that would be how he would have landed himself here in Stryker's Island Penitentiary, being able to summon a gun that allows him to shoot kryptonite, which puts Superman in the ICU. Now, that is a big step up from the previous 2016 Suicide Squad movie, where no one on that team could possibly do anything like that. Let's get to number 2.
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
Up next at number 2, played by John Cena, we have Peacemaker. As James Gunn would say, Peacemaker is a guy who believes in peace at any cost, no matter how many people he needs to kill along the way. Peacemaker was born into a troubled family. His father was a former Nazi. They had a lot of issues growing up. His father ended up killing himself, which led to some trauma for Peacemaker. He ended up joining the military. And during the military, he got accused of killing a bunch of innocent people. So they sent him away to prison. While he was there, the feds came to him and they asked him to join Operation Peacemaker. He was never deployed, but he did get trained at a high-tech military base. This is where he gets his powers and abilities. He's an anti-hero who wields all these deadly and crazy advanced technology. He's got bulletproof body armor. I'm wondering what's up with the weird helmet, but in the comics, it can send out ultrasonic frequencies. It can scramble electronic signals, and it can even detect hostiles from far away. Also in the comics, there are the ghosts of the people that he wronged, including his father. They're trapped inside of it. This is going to be a really exciting rendition of Peacemaker, and I'm super excited to see it.
Now getting into number 3.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.
All right, guys, and getting right into number 3 here, we have King Shark, probably one of the characters I'm most excited for, being played by Sylvester Stallone. I don't really know how much they're going to have him talk in the movie. Doesn't really sound like he's saying too much, but I think Sylvester Stallone is going to be a perfect casting. Whatever they need him to say, I think he'll nail really what they're looking for out of this character voice-wise. Now, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they bring everything really into this all together with him, because he's had a lot of different showtime, whether it's been in comics. He's had some interesting roles in the comics, meeting up with Aquaman as well, and also being in the Suicide Squad in the comics as well, but more recently in the Harley Quinn TV show, where essentially is working as a bodyguard for her and one of her crew. So it's kind of interesting to see if they're going to bring in a little bit more dynamic with that, if they're going to get into that a little bit more, if he's going to have some interesting roles, or if he's going to be kind of a recurring character. We're going to see him in some future DCEU work here with maybe some other stuff with Harley Quinn, some movies with that, or maybe she pops up in a Batman movie and he's also there. But that's going to be interesting to see either way. But I'm excited to see where they really take this character and where they go with it from here. But let's get right into number 4.
Not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know.
All right, diving right into number 4 here, we have Weasel, or John Monroe, as he's referred to with his real name in the comics. It'll be interesting to see how they really tie him in here with Sean Gunn playing him. I don't know if we're going to see a little bit more of his background and his origin story in this Suicide Squad movie like we did with some of the characters in the first movie, or if we're really going to kind of get tossed in. Here's this weird little weasel animal-looking creature, and Sean Gunn just makes a bunch of weird little animal weasel noises throughout the whole movie. Even though it does look like he talks in the comics, who knows what they're going to treat it as. Diving into his background a little bit more, Essentially, as a student, he was referred to as a Weasel because of his unremarkable and undesirable looks as a man and disrespected by his peers. Those peers eventually became his fellow faculty at a university when he became a teacher in higher positions than him, and due to that, he took it as a threat, began to attack and murder them in his original origins, then took on this identity of the Weasel. As we can see here in the movie, they talk about him murdering 27 different children, so it'll be interesting to see if they tie that in at all, if he is a teacher or was morphed or anything like that, if we're getting more of like a Rocket Raccoon kind of thing or some kind of weird, animal morphing situation. But let's get right into our last pick here at number 5.
Get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
At number 5, we got a strange one. We got the Ratcatcher 2, that is played by Daniela Melchior. She's the daughter of Ratcatcher 1. Now, Ratcatcher 1 was Otis Flanagan, who was actually once a rat catcher in Gotham City until he noticed that he had this special ability to communicate with rodents. He develops this army of rodents and causes mayhem in Gotham. He is a very insane individual, to say the least. He started out as a major villain of Batman, and he ended up being a major villain of Robin. So maybe we're going to be getting some Robin action up soon. Who knows? But it looks like in this version, he's handed down the mantle to his daughter, who has the same powers as him. Basically, they can manipulate rats. They can talk to them telepathically. In some of the comics, they have the ability, rat-like abilities, to squirm and squalor and crawl up the walls, and we'll see how that goes. Also in the comics, the Ratcatcher wore a mask because of the sewer smell. It was pretty intimidating and awesome, so I'm really excited for this.
All right, guys, thank you again for tuning in to the Asgardian News Network and our breakdown of 5 characters we felt like we needed to know before we watched the new Suicide Squad movie here in 2021. Awesome to see that DC is really getting a return to form here with James Gunn directing this new movie. Really knew that he would kill it either which way. He's done a great job with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and I figured him doing a movie like this was perfect. Same kind of weird dynamic that allows him to bring the creative genius that he's brought to those previous movies. Let me know what other characters you think are going to be kind of interesting. There's definitely a huge cast and better cast for sure than the first movie. It'll be great to see how these all kind of mesh together, mold together, and what kind of movie this turns out to be. But I think this will be a great return to form. Again, if you could subscribe, leave a comment, and like, be greatly appreciated. See you in the next one.